New York Attorney General Letitia James has reportedly rejected an offer from former President Trump to settle a civil investigation into his real estate business. The New York Times reports that might increase the chances of a potential lawsuit. The AG is also reportedly considering suing at least one of the former president's children. The investigation focuses on whether Mr. Trump inflated the value of his properties. For more on this story, Rebecca Roiphe joins us now. She is a CBS News legal contributor. Rebecca, thank you for being here. What is the likelihood now that the New York Attorney General files a lawsuit in this case?
I think it's fairly likely. I mean, we've been watching this investigation develop. If you remember, there were parallel investigations, the Attorney General along with the Manhattan District Attorney, and we saw the Manhattan District Attorney's investigation lag, but the Attorney General's investigation seemed to be ongoing and to be gaining steam. Now that it seems that she's rejected a settlement, it seems fairly likely that at some point we'll see some sort of lawsuit.
When you hear about this reported tidbit in the negotiations about possibly looking into Trump's children, what does that tell you?
Well, I think this was somewhat expected in that this is a business that's family run. It's very closely held, and the children are very involved in the day to day business. And the investigation has looked into, as you said, this question of whether or not there was an inflating or deflating, a manipulation of the value of assets in order to gain certain advantages with banks, insurers, and regulators. And so, to the extent that the children were involved, it's unsurprising to see that they will be maybe a part of this lawsuit.
For those who aren't lawyers, help us understand what it would mean for a state attorney general to sue someone on a business matter. It's not a typical thing you hear about in terms of prosecution.
Right. No, it's not a criminal prosecution. And in New York, the state attorney general has, for the most part, jurisdiction over civil cases. There are some criminal cases that the attorney general controls, but for the most part, those are taken care of by local district attorneys. So the kinds of cases that attorney general would be involved in, as opposed to a private party, involve the public as a whole. And this case, in which there might be harm to the public, but it's still a civil case, are exactly the kind of case that she would pursue in order to protect the financial markets in New York and ensure that everybody has a fair shot and that people aren't being swindled essentially out of money and assets.
And let's say she moves forward with a lawsuit. How does that play out in terms of a court proceeding?
Well, it would play out like almost any other. There has been an investigation that is somewhat different because in a private lawsuit, obviously, there are only separate parties and somebody would bring a complaint. But once she's completed her investigation, it would proceed just like a case, any other case. So there would be a complaint, there would be discovery in which each side seeks to develop its case and look at the case that the other side has, build its best argument. And then again, perhaps there would be more settlement negotiations, but if not, this would go to trial.
And in the way these usually work, do you expect the Trump team to potentially continue to try to settle this? Are these legal situations that are often settled before they get to court?
Oh, quite frequently they are, but in this situation, I'm not exactly sure because it is a little bit different and it's so much more high profile. And I think the attorney general has been developing this case and developing the evidence for so long that she will be somewhat reluctant to settle for anything less than a fairly severe consequence for the organization and for those individuals. So the question is whether or not that would be something that the Trump family and the Trump organization would be willing to stomach in order to avoid having to go forward in this case.
Interesting, politically and legally. Rebecca Roiphe, thank you.
Thank you so much.